Hey guys, welcome to Betrayal of the Body. Nikita here. We're going to talk about my cancer battle today a little bit more in detail. In 2008, while camping out at Glamis for Thanksgiving weekend with some friends, I got a visit from Aunt Flo. And it didn't take long to realize that this was not my normal Aunt Flo, and that I was losing way too much blood. So my friend took me to the emergency room, and I ended up needing a blood transfusion to stabilize me. I knew at this point that I had uterine cancer. I hadn't even followed up with my doctor yet, but I just knew it. My mom had uterine cancer. I think she was 28 when she was diagnosed, and they had said that it had been growing in her body for years. And then I had a cousin who needed a hysterectomy at 15 years old. Many other family members also had uterine cancer. I would be the seventh to get it in my family if this was the case. So I followed up with my doctor. As soon as I got out of the emergency room, I called and made an appointment. They saw me, I think, like within 3 or 4 days. They did, your normal pap smear, your normal, checkup. And when it came back abnormal. This in itself isn't any different than what I've experienced every single time I've had a pap smear. Every pap smear I had since the first one I had, I think at 15 years old, was always abnormal. They never did anything about it. They just kept doing more pap smears, expecting it to get different results. But no one ever made a big deal about it, so I didn't think anything of it. This time, though, they tell me that they found cervical cancer and that they wanted to remove my cervix. Anyone hears, even if I was expecting to hear that I had cancer, it's still not easy to hear that I have cancer. But I was confused. I told them, are you sure it's not uterine cancer? Because uterine cancer runs in my family. In the 20s is when they usually get it. I'm 23 now, so it would make sense that, now it's my turn. Oh, no. Uterine cancer isn't genetic. That's impossible. And no one gets uterine cancer in their 20s. They get it in like their 40s and 50s. It's usually postmenopausal women who get uterine cancer, is what my gynecologist was telling me. So we move forward and they remove the cervix. I get a call not 24 hours after leaving the hospital from my doctor saying that she had bad news. And I was like, okay, well, what is it? What's up? We didn't get it all. And she says, it turns out you don't have cervical cancer. Like, oh, no, there was cancer there. You have stage 3 uterine cancer that spread to your cervix. Huh. Go figure. It's not genetic though, right? So we schedule a hysterectomy. We decide that the best course of action is to leave the ovaries behind so that I don't go through menopause at 23 because they were unaffected, and to just remove the remaining uterus because cervix is gone already. It took 6 months fighting with Medi-Cal to get them to approve my hysterectomy. They said that because I was so young that they wanted me to go through chemo, they wanted me to go through anything else other than a hysterectomy. 6 months it took to get my insurance to approve cutting the cancer out of me. They wanted to leave it there. Finally got it done in June 2009. I ended up having some complications in relation to the sedation with the hysterectomy. Ended up needing to go to the hospital a week afterwards to help fix that problem. And then things kind of got back to normal. I felt fine. Doctors said they got all the cancer and that I didn't need any further treatment and I was good to go. So I did. I kind of went back to my life and just, okay, no more babies now, no more period. Yay. I actually wasn't upset about the whole thing at all. I was just kind of like, yay, I don't have to deal with my period anymore. And then about a month went by, and I started having this pain in my lower abdomen, and it would come and go. It wasn't too intense, so I kind of just ignored it, thought that it was, normal, whatever. I just didn't really address it. And then, a couple months went by, and I was having this pain more and more often, and I reached out to some friends who had had a hysterectomy as well, and asked if they had experienced anything like this, and they said no, that they didn't have pain like that afterwards, and that I should probably talk to my doctor and make sure that everything's okay. And so I went back to my doctor, and she was reluctant, but she ended up ordering an ultrasound to find out if there was anything they could see that might be causing the pain on the ultrasound. We're now in December 2009, and I go in for my ultrasound on a Friday afternoon. Now, anyone who's ever been in for any kind of imaging, medical imaging, you know that the radiologist isn't allowed to really tell you what he saw. If you go in, get x-rays, they can't tell you if they saw a break. You have to wait for your doctor to tell you that they saw a break, or, those kinds of things. Okay, so I know this, I get this, I got this then, but there's a professional way to conduct yourself if you're a radiologist. If there's any radiologists watching this, this is a what not to do, especially when dealing with cancer patients on a Friday afternoon. My radiologist tech was looking, she's rubbing my stomach and looking at the screen. I can't see the screen. And she's acting like she's watching a horror movie. I mean, like her face is contorting and she's like, And I'm like, what are you seeing? Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I can't tell you. Thanks. She left the room twice to go consult with, someone who knew more than she did, came back, still no one told me anything, and then, they finished the test and they say that I'll hear from my doctor on Monday or Tuesday or whenever my doctor gets the results. Great. So you're just going to leave me with my imagination for the weekend. Thanks. Yeah. There's got to be a better way, people. Can't do this to people. Yeah, so I finally hear from my doctor. Turns out I had a golf ball-sized tumor in my left fallopian tube. January 2010, they go in and remove that. They removed both of my fallopian tubes. They said, might as well, while they're in there, fallopian tubes don't really do anything for you if there's no uterus. The fallopian tubes are pointless. So they go ahead and remove both fallopian tubes, once again leaving behind the ovaries because they insisted that it was important that a 23-year-old does not go through menopause. Well, actually, at this point, I've turned 24, so it's still important for a 24-year-old to not go through menopause this young. When I wake up from this surgery, I'm told once again that they got all of the cancer and I'm good to go. But we found something else. If you'd like to find out what they found, why don't you click on that little bell over there and you'll get a notification when I post my next video. Like, share, subscribe. Please comment as well. Hope to see you next time.